What's up, everybody? Welcome to my review of the Latitude 64 Explorer. Big thank you to Dynamic Discs for sponsoring this review. I really appreciate their support. They've been very generous to me over the last year or so, sent me a bunch of great plastic to test and review, and I appreciate them very much. This is the Explorer. It is a brand new release from Latitude 64. It is Ricky Wysocki's new signature disc. You guys know I'm a big Rick fan, so I had to check this one out, and I'm happy I did. It's a great flyer. Let's take a look at it. Explorer, Ricky Wysocki, two-time world champion, signature edition. This one's in the Opto plastic. I hear that the gold line ones may be a little bit straighter, just as a quick data point there. But the Opto plastic is one of my favorite plastic types on the market. 750N2 is the flight numbers for this disc. I also like that Latitude's putting them on the front of the discs now. I think that's a good idea to have that as part of the stamp, so you can reference that if you're looking at discs at the store or something like that. So you can see it's got a nice rounded profile to the flight plate. Not pop-top dome, but it's definitely not flat either. Very comfortable feel in the hand. The rim is very comfortable. It's a speed 7, so it's a very small, very manageable rim that anybody can get a good grip on, which I like quite a bit. Even if you have big hands like me, it feels good. If you have much smaller hands, you're going to have no trouble getting a good grip around the rim of the Explorer. Very comfortable feel in the hand for sure. I'm going to put it up next to the Opto, or Gold Line rather, St. Pro, to give you an idea of the differences there. I like to compare a disc that you may be familiar with already to give you an idea of how it's going to feel in comparison to something that you might be familiar with. Put it up next to this St. Pro. The St. Pro is a little bit faster, but they're somewhat similar in terms of roll as a stable to slightly overstable, consistent control fairway driver. Full review on that St. Pro coming out eventually. I haven't even thrown that one yet. The Opto plastic is great. I really like it. It's very durable. It's got great colors and a good grippy feel in the hand. It maintains flight characteristics for a long period of time, and I really dig that. So let's get into some flights. First of all, we're going to see Andy throw this thing a few times. You're going to see it hold the line very nicely. Not much in the way of natural turn whatsoever from my testing. It really just holds the release angle very nicely. If you start it on hyzer, it stays on hyzer. It's not like a hyzer flip disc by any means. If you start it on anhyzer, it likes to flex out eventually. It doesn't turn super hard, but it will fade back even if you start it on a pretty strong anhyzer from my testing. But you guys know I don't have a lot of power. Here's Andy throwing it with a forehand, and you're going to see with the more torque of a forehand, it is going to turn a little bit, but it does come all the way back and finish nicely. It's a beautifully played shot, actually. Gave him a little look for two there. This is a new friend named James. Hopefully we'll see more of him. He's got some more power, good form, and you can see even with his power, throwing it pretty strong. It's got a consistent fade down the hill here, and very straight flight overall. Good glide to it. We were testing this thing alongside the Ballista Pro, and it was getting just about as much distance for our kind of more amateur level arm speed. So the Explorer is definitely a really solid disc. I think almost anybody could get use out of this disc. Even if you're a beginner, it's going to be more of an overstable fairway driver for you as a beginner, but it's something that you can definitely grow into. Andy also pointed out that it would be a great disc for you to layer in the bag. If you had a few of them and you kind of broke them into different stages, it could be a really great kind of workhorse disc that covers you on a ton of different lines, where you get one beat in that'll kind of flip and ride a little bit more, have a nice fresh Opto one for stable to overstable, and have a slightly broken in one for those really straight flights with a consistent fade at the end of the flight. We definitely saw fade out of this thing pretty much every time, but it was very manageable. Good glide, good distance for a Speed 7 disc as well. And yeah, really had a great time testing this thing. I think if you had a bigger power arm, it would be a super, super straight flyer. I'm very interested to see Ricky throwing this thing over the course of the season to see how it flies for him and his elite level power off the tee. It should be very interesting, but I think it's just going to fly super straight and have a gentle little finish at the end of the flight. So I think the Explorer is going to be really popular. I'm happy for Ricky to have another great signature disc out there that a lot of players can get some good use out of in their bag. That's my review. Thanks to you guys for watching. Thanks to Dynamic Discs. I'll check you all later. Cheers.